And it was just another day, yeah.
Just another day.
Until I went to the movies, and now it's a movie Chewsday. A movie Chewsday. Until a movie Chewsday.
Yellow, and welcome to Movie Chewsday. It all started on Twitter when I would just go to the movies, and after the movie, I would just write a little mini review on Twitter, spoiler free, of course. And I realized after that, like, 140 characters just isn't enough. I need more. I need characters in the thousands to explain what I feel about these movies that I see. And here we are today. So today we're going to be talking about Sicario. So for those who haven't seen it yet and plan on seeing it, or if you're on the fence on whether you want to see it or not, we're going to start off with the non-spoiler tweet that I did. Just let me pull it up here for a second. Let's see here. No, that's a different one. On Twitter, I said, Sicario adds a good mix to gritty crime dramas. Storytelling's dark and well executed, and the characters are believable. Hashtag Movie Chewsday. Basically, what I mean, well, hold on, almost started going into it. So for those who are interested in seeing the movie still, or you're trying to decide whether you want to see it or not, I highly recommend going to see Sicario. Okay, so on that note, get out, go watch the movie, come back here, and watch the rest of the video, because now I'm about to go and elaborate on a tweet, which will definitely go into spoiler territory, and you don't want this movie spoiled for you. All right, you don't want any movie spoiled for you, actually. So anyway, going into the tweet, let's start out with the good mix. The good mix to a gritty crime drama is basically just me trying to cover up the fact that there's a twist in the movie, but I didn't want to say there was a twist, because here's a little movie etiquette fact for you. When you tell someone that there's a twist in the movie, you're not spoiling it for them, but you're ruining the excitement that they would get when the twist happens. You're ruining their moment. You know what I mean? So you don't want to tell someone that there's a twist in the movie. I hate when people do that. I hate when the previews do that. So so now that's out the way. That was what I meant by it's a good mix to gritty crime dramas. I'm used to seeing like stuff like Traffic or A Man Apart, where like when it's law enforcement versus the drug cartel and the war on drugs, it's usually the same shtick where, law enforcement is just going by the book, and it's, to try and build up a case to bring down the cartels, and it takes a toll on them and everything. And they show how gritty the cartel can be to innocent people and to their subordinates and stuff, people that work under them. And this movie does that, but it adds a twist to it where it's not what you think it is, because the movie is sold as another like war on drugs type of movie, right? Where the U.S. agents are going over into the Mexico border or Colombian border to like battle drug cartels and stuff, right? So it starts out like that. It also starts out as one of those movies where like the veteran or the superior in law enforcement takes like an up and coming rookie and introduces them to that gritty world that they're in to like build them up as their protege. And like I said, the movie starts out like that, but it definitely doesn't end that way. There's like this overall mystery that just keeps on building in the movie, and it keeps you guessing. Like I for one kept thinking that Josh Brolin's character was going to end up being a dirty agent and just like trying to find a way to smuggle out cartel drug money, because we've seen that happen before in movies, in those types of movies. We're trying to find out exactly what's up with Benicio del Toro's character. Like, You know, is he really a agent or an operative from a different agency, or is he just a part of the drug cartel because they were saying that he was like a defector or something. So I was figuring that in the end of the movie he would flip around and double cross Josh Brolin's character and try and take over as a new drug lord, you know. And then like with Emily Blunt's character, you're trying to figure out what her role is in the whole thing, because for some reason Josh Brolin's character needs her character to run his operation successfully, you know. So you're trying to figure out that kind of stuff. And it's just this overall mystery, and I just like the way it all built up and everything. The next part of the tweet where I say dark storytelling, storytelling was dark. I mean, when you find out Benecio's story, like his character story, how his family was butchered by the cartel, you know. I mean, even though he was with a rival cartel, it's like that's still like it's messed up, you know. And then in the very end, he ends up killing the drug lord's family right in front of him at the dinner table, you know, while they're eating, you know, and it was kids and stuff. So it's crazy. It's dark. Josh Brolin's character is just, when you figure out his true motives, you realize that he's pretty manipulative. Like, clearly him and Benicio del Toro's character have this agreement where they're working together to get what they want, but like Emily Blunt's caught in the middle and being used as a pawn. So when you get that whole gist of the story and his motive, it's kind of messed up. But I mean, he's got to do his job, even though it's illegal as hell. But I mean, he got it done, obviously. Well, if you saw the movie, you know he got it done. But even the drug mules story, where they kept like showing little small pieces of his life, where it's just this tired and grizzled cop in Mexico, and his kid keeps waking him up in the morning and asking him to take him to his soccer game and asking him to play soccer with him and stuff like that. It's like, and you find out later in the movie that he's just a drug mule and stuff. But it was, I don't know, man. It's just, it's really dark when you think about it. And just Josh Brolin's character's motives in general is basically just him saying the war on drugs is never ending and we can't win it. The best thing that we can do is find a cartel that we can work with and kind of monitor what they do and maybe like tone down the violence that they're known for, as well as like running drugs and, you know, doing this human trafficking stuff and using kids as drug mules and stuff, you know. So it's kind of dark to think about that, but I mean, but that's what I like about it. I like dark storytelling. It's really good. You know, it makes you think about stuff. It brings everything into perspective, pretty much. So yeah, believable characters. I really did think that they were believable characters. Brolin's character. I mean, before you figure out his true motive, you can see how cold he is to Emily Blunt's character, where it's like she's asking him questions and he's not telling her anything. I mean, he's telling her some stuff, but he's telling her just enough to where she won't walk away. He tells her enough to where she feels satisfied and she stays to like carry out the mission. And with Benicio's character, you see like his compassion that he has for Emily Blunt before you figure out why he cares for her so much. You can tell the way his actions are, where he tells her like what she's in for. Like when they're going into Juarez, you know, he tells her like how it is and gives her an idea of what she's gonna be running into over there, and he tries to protect her. He came to her rescue when she was getting into the fight with John Barenthal's character, and she almost died, but he came and saved her. He didn't have to do that, but I mean, technically he did, because I guess Brolin would have been pretty mad if she would have died, and that would have been his scapegoat would have been out the window, and his whole operation would have been jacked up. But you know, you could see the compassion that he had for her and how he wanted to protect her. And even at the end of the movie, when he's holding her at gunpoint to sign the waiver, he's still just like is letting her know like, it's the world's messed up, man. It's dark, and you seem to be one of the pure ones. Stay that way. Go into a small town, and become a family woman or something while you're a sheriff or whatever, where the law still exists, as he was saying. And, you know, I like that about his character. But he was also cold-blooded. He was a cold-blooded killer, but he had his reasons, and he's a hitman. I guess he's supposed to be cold-blooded, but hitmen have feelings too, don't they? So, yeah. And then Emily Blunt's character, I thought, was done perfectly. She was pretty much the lead of the movie. She was the protagonist. She was, you know, we saw things through her eyes and everything. Like, we're trying to figure out the whole mystery that's building up. And I thought she handled herself really well. She didn't come off as overly macho, which the movies I've seen her in where she plays demanding roles like that, she doesn't ever overdo it, which is what I love about her acting skills, is that she comes off as a real person, you know, who has real emotions. You can tell that she's like one of the best at her job, not just because they're telling you her service record and stuff while she's on the force or in the FBI, but you can also see throughout the movie how intuitive she is and how she's able to read situations. Like, she was able to read the situation when they were in the traffic jam after they got back into the States from Mexico, you know, and they had that altercation on the street. She was able to read what that situation was really about, whereas Brolin and his people were just overreacting and stuff and just like hair on the trigger finger type attitudes, you know? And I like that. And then I thought her character evolved in the movie as well, where you know, you see her at her job and she's confident, you know, she's brave, but once it's all over and everything dies down, you know, she's smoking a cigarette, trying to like wind down everything because it's starting to slowly take effect. It's slowly starting to affect her and everything. And when you get to the climax at the end, when everything is explained, you know, you just see how exhausted that she is and how done she is with it. And in the end, it's like her character can go either way. Like, she could go to a small town and be a sheriff and run things there, or she could go back to the FBI and keep doing her job, which is pretty much like meaningless to the bigger picture of what she's trying to accomplish, you know? She could go back to Josh Brolin and be like, hey, I get it. Like, you know, let's do this. Let's go after the next guy. Because you can see like the different paths she could go in at the end, because when she was holding Benecio at gunpoint, you know, she put the gun down. And I don't see that as her doing it out of fear. I see that as her like slowly starting to realize, like, yeah, you know, it was wrong, but it made sense. It worked. We got good results out of it. So, you know, my bad. Sorry, I pointed the gun at you again, you know, so. But anyway, like, that's pretty much the gist of what I was trying to get through with the tweet. And that's why I highly recommend going to see the movie in theaters as soon as possible. I'm sure that a lot of people had chose to go see The Martian because I'm pretty sure Sicario came out the same day as The Martian. And I mean, I went to go see The Martian as well. I thought that was a good movie, but if I had to choose between the two, I would have chosen to see Sicario, which is what I did. So all I'm saying is if you're on the fence, if you don't know what to see, but you want to go see a movie and you want to see a good movie, I highly recommend going to see Sicario. So on that note, I'm out of here. Reach me on Twitter at the Chewels. Email me, chewels85@gmail.com. Check out my other video content on my YouTube channel. It's there's a art video I do called Bad Art, where I draw things and talk about things, you know, because I just love to talk. So anyway, but yeah, that's gonna be about it. I'll see you on the next one. Until then, play my intro for my outro.
And it was just another day, yeah.
Just another day.
Until I went to the movies, now it's a movie Chewsday.
Just another day.
A movie Chewsday. Until a movie Chewsday.